In January 2023, I found myself in a remarkable position, sitting across from the elusive and controversial Selaran Fox. Our dialogue, cloaked in anticipation and curiosity, offered a rare glimpse into the depths of his character. This video is that story. Our conversation starts out like most all do on Lotro, a random, out-of-the-blue comment that comes from a deeply slighted place. "I'll deal with a lot of things, but I don't tolerate stupidity," Selaran tells me. To the average player, this gesture may seem trivial, but little did I know his approach would unravel a lifetime of lore. I didn't quite know what to say. I mean, as Peter Griffin himself once said,
"Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down."
To ease the tension, I thought it might be a good idea to cover some more basic topics. "What's your favorite lore moment, Sel?" He doesn't reply. He just tells me that while he loves Lord of the Rings, he doesn't know much of the lore. At this point, the conversation starts to swell with my own dis-ease, so I shift topic again. "What inspired the story of Selaran if you haven't read lore?" "Me?" he replies. "Is he like you then?" I ask. "Mostly. In spirit, yes." Cloaked in a shadowy veil of black attire, his identity shrouded behind a mysterious mask. I wondered what it was about his perpetually level 77 persona that reflected his own character. And I wanted to ask, but before I could, he shattered the silence with an unexpected remark that caught me off guard. "I snapped a piece of the hook end of a vertebrae off of my spine when I was like 12, he says. Selaran, now 23, tells me that he, quote, "jumped off a trailer and landed wrong, dove into a pool, hit my hands like an idiot, power cleaned 165 pounds, lifting weights, popped it off. 2 weeks later, I could not turn around without being electrocuted with pain." Unquote. "I was very, very strong. I lifted 300 pounds at 12, 5'3" and 145 pounds, he says. At this point, the conversation starts to get busied up with inconsistencies. 1 minute he's telling me about his accident, and the next he's switching subjects. We talked about his mom, his grandparents, his brother, and it broke my heart. "I'm 23 now," he proceeds, "but when I broke my back, I starved for years because it messed up my stomach." I empathized with him, and we sat together in quiet reflection until, out of nowhere, he turned to me and said, "I'm not a cripple." I nodded, unsure of how to respond, but knowing Selaran, I expected him to grant me the mercy of not having to continue speaking. Anyway, I don't walk perfectly anymore though, but I was made by pain and stress. "By your parents?" I asked. "By me, by heartbreak, by hate. My grandparents loved me and still do. I am a complicated person." His confession was striking, to say the least, and though I was ready to take a break, he, for some reason, kept talking. "I grew up in rural Texas, and I unknowingly fell in love with the town toy. I saw her getting screwed like a dog more than once with my own eyes, since we were adults." Before I could even get a word in edgewise, he started to tell me about his family, details I won't mention out of respect for their privacy. Selaran would also go on to mention that he used to walk 6 miles a night and break his knuckles into fluid sacks. 1-2 punches nightly against a brick wall. Nowadays, he passes time at work doing, well, actually, I can't say what he does because it's fraud. Anyway, I'll let him explain everything himself.
I'm not interested in college. If I'm not working, doing something in my yard, or at my one friend's, then I'm on this PC. And I try not to sleep, and I don't watch TV anymore. I like to stay awake, and I've done so for 10 years. I can sleep for 3 hours and jump up nice and bright. I drink 1.4 liters of coffee at a time with lots of milk and sugar."
At one point in his rambling, I turned to him and asked why he made so many terrible remarks about a number of female players on the server, calling them whores and sluts. He walks right up to me, point blank, and without hesitating says,
"Because they deserved it."
I don't respond, but it doesn't take long for him to break the silence. I am one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, but I won't stay quiet when someone bothers me, he says. Not 2 minutes later, Selaran takes to World Chat, mocking the women he had once verbally assaulted.
Hey everyone, I called Arindius a slut like a week ago. Don't forget it when she cries to the 200 people that inhabit this server. She deserved it for talking shit.
I have a temper, Selaran says, returning to IMs. But my edge is honed and trained. I know what I am doing at all times, and I really do not give a damn about people. I have 107 people on my ignore list for a reason, he finally admits. I had to pause at this point. It was a lot, even for me. It's funny, really. When Selaran took to World Chat, I realized something about this story that I hadn't before. I came to understand that even though I empathize deeply with Selaran's tragic life story, it doesn't automatically make him a good person. Empathy isn't a magic wand that transforms someone's character. Selaran's story was complicated and tragic. I wanted better for him. I felt deeply for him. But empathy couldn't gloss over the flaws etched within his character. Despite his poignant past, Selaran harbored deep prejudices. His words dripped with the poison of sexism, serving as a bitter reminder that empathy doesn't absolve one of their transgressions. Selaran's life showed me that empathy helps us understand each other, but it doesn't make us like each other. I'm jealous, Selaran confesses to me. Jealous of me? I ask. I have not made many friends. Acquaintances, accomplices, yes, but very few friends in my time here. I didn't know what to say, but thankfully he filled the silence. I am naturally jealous of people I like and have a sublime desire to be special, like everyone who feels that way about people. I nodded in understanding, poised to continue the dialogue. Yet before I could utter another word, he spoke the very phrase that has remained etched in my mind to this day.
I'm an observer.
What do you observe exactly, Selaran?
Everything around me, of course.